All right, welcome back to the program. In case you're just joining us, it's time for our conversation right now. My guest is joining me via Skype from Lagos. He is Dele Ayemibo. He is the lead consultant at 3T Impact Trade Academy, also an international trade expert. Mr. Ayemibo, good to have you on the program today and welcome to the show.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
And how is Abuja today?
Abuja is fine. The weather is a bit better today. When I mean better, no rains today. I don't know if it will rain later, but a bit of a clement weather today, a bit sunny this morning. So welcome again to the program. Let me have your views about the GDP numbers, your general views about the GDP figures that was released by the NBS on Monday.
It's like asking your wife. It's like surprised that your wife delivered the baby after 9 months of pregnancy. So what we saw were not unexpected, considering all that have happened in the world. So I think all we are seeing is just a result of the COVID. And for me, it's not unexpected at all. So our conversation should be more about where do we go from here? What should be our plan? What should be our strategy? What measures are we putting in place to be able to contain the effect of the pandemic? I think that should be the conversation.
Do you think that we're having that conversation enough? Do you think that there are enough conversations around the strategy to pull us out of this so that we don't go, it's not a really steep, it's not steeper than it is right now? Are you satisfied with the kind of conversations here and there around strategy, around government pulling us out of this? And when I mean government, central as well as states.
For trade, I don't think so. Generally, maybe, but for trade, I don't think so. I think the challenge we're faced with right now is there is the, when you look at some of the things CBN are doing, there is the desire to help the country manage the foreign exchange. So good intention, but the way they are going about it really, in opinion, is not holistic enough. If a family does not have money to take care of its children, while reducing costs, we should also be strategizing to increase earnings. And that's what I'm not seeing. We're strategizing enough to be able to increase the earnings. So we are doing a lot to reduce the utilization of FX, but I'm not sure we are doing enough to increase the generation of FX. So around trade, I think we can do much more right now around trade. But generally, I think there are general conversations generally on what can be done in the economy. But for trade, I don't think we are doing enough in terms of conversation and also in terms of implementation of those policies.
Okay, let's break it down a bit. Since we'll be talking about the trade sector today, explain to my viewers what actually trade means in the terms of perhaps the GDP numbers, because we have a lot of sectors that were watched by the NBS and those numbers were released. For an average Nigerian watching us right now, what would you tell the person about Nigeria's trade sector? What does it entail? What does it contain?
Okay, generally in the categorization of NBS, typically they will look at it from manufacturing, also industrial, then agric, then raw materials, then solid minerals, then energy. Generally, general categorization of NBS. Over the years, we've always had a good chunk of the sector for export taken over by manufacturing. Over the years, manufacturing. The reason for me is not unfounded, because if you check the total export volume in the world, last year the world did about $18.89 trillion according to WTO. Usually about 60% at least 60% of that is manufacturing. So Nigerian trade also is a reflection of what you see in the global arena. Even though we do a lot of exports in commodity, especially agri, but we don't get to see in terms of earnings. Generally in the world, agri export is not 2 trillion. Remember, in a trade volume of about 18.89 trillion, over 12 trillion is for.
Okay, Mr. Ayemibo, it seems the network is a bit challenging there. Let's quickly take a break. Let's try and reconnect to you again and see if it will be better. We will take a break shortly, but while we take the break, don't forget to join us on all our social media platforms. In case you want to contribute, you can do that. Tweet me right now at Nancy Ilo. That's on Twitter. You can also find us on Twitter, Moneyline TV. Send us your comments, what you think concerning the topic today. We're looking at the trade sector. Are you involved even in the trade sector in Nigeria? You know, retail trade and all of that. So send us your comments. You can also find us on Facebook. Don't forget to go to YouTube, get to our channel there, Moneyline with Nancy, subscribe, and we'll be right back.
However, in the absence of a census, we do what is called projections. By that projection, which are estimates, today we should be about 206 million. By our estimates, we're growing now at 2.56%, almost 2.6% annually. More than 43% of our population presently is below the age of 15. The time has come for us to shift our paradigm from money metric measures of development to human capital development, because our greatest asset is our population. Today, as I speak with you, Nigeria is the 5th largest population in the whole world. The state of the world population is likely to be launched in the course of this week as part of the world population activities. And according to that report, Nigeria has moved to the 5th position in the world. That we can turn into an asset. As we're facing challenges with crude oil, we should begin to move towards human capital.
All right, welcome back. Bamidele Ayemibo is joining me again. We had some network issues earlier. He's the lead consultant, Treaty Impacts Trade Academy, also an international trade expert. Mr. Ayemibo, if you can hear me, let's continue our conversation on addressing trade sector challenges in Nigeria. I did ask you earlier as in what angles are to trade, you know, because one may just think ordinarily that perhaps it's about import and exports. Expatiate on that.
Yes. So I was saying that the fact that we've been focusing a lot on commodities, and despite the fact that we are doing a lot of exports, even though mainly crude, the much we are doing in agri is not being seen, mainly because of the fact that we concentrate more on commodities. And I was trying to give some data and statistics to show that what is happening in Nigeria is a reflection of the global economy. That, according to the MBS report released Q1, out of the about 15% of non-oil, manufacturing contributes about 10%, almost 11% actually. Agri is just about 3%. Agri is just about 3%. And then raw material 0.3%, and then solid minerals 0.04%. So basically talking about the fact that we are still likely not just dependent on crude, but we are also doing a lot in commodities. And in my opinion, that is actually not also making us to get ready for AFCFTA, which we have signed, even though we are yet to ratify, because majority of Nigerian exports to Africa, West Africa, and other African countries are likely manufactured goods. That's why I said the conversation really should be about what should we be looking at going forward, so that we don't have the kind of impact that COVID-19 is having on Nigeria right now. Because there are countries that also experience the same thing, but they still have enough foreign reserves to be able to keep moving despite the issues that COVID-19 has caused for different countries across the world. So I think the conversation should be around what we need to begin to do as far as export is concerned, as far as trade is concerned, particularly exportation out of Nigeria.
Okay, let's now come to that conversation and what we need to do, because if you take a look at it, like I said earlier, trade is also hinged on some other sectors are doing well. You will see Naira earlier on, I did the market analysis, the currencies market. Naira is exchanging to major currencies at over 450. To the dollar is 477 today. So how do you think we can address that? Because if the trade sector is also good, I guess it would also show in our currency, the performance of our currency.
It's actually because of our currency and because we're not generating enough effect. So we need to grow non-oil export. This has been, we've talked about it for many years, actually, about the fact that we need to grow non-oil export. If we have been saying this for many years and we have not done much in it, indeed, then this is the time for us to do that. And like CBN governor said, one of his was in the report that was released during the COVID, that we can make good of this particular issue. I think we can make the negative negotiation to be good for us, because we should be taking the right decision right now that will help us be able to go on the export. For example, like I said earlier, we need to concentrate more on value-added exports. And we need to engage SME in that chain. Because one of the goals of government is to create jobs. And we know, according to MBS report the last time, that about 40%, so about 40 million SMEs are in Nigeria. We need to incorporate them into that chain, but concentrate on value-added exports. Now, let me give you an instance. If you are exporting a raw cashew nut, it can be as low as $1,000 per metric ton, raw cashew nut. The time immediately you remove the shell of that cashew nut, you'll have created a lot of jobs locally in Nigeria. Even though the recovery is about 20 to 25% because of the weight of the shell, that kernel inside can be sold for as high as $15,000 per metric ton. So who is making the money? Obviously, the people that are removing the shell and adding value to it. So we will ship it from Nigeria to Asia, and Asia remove the shell, India, Vietnam, and then ship it to Europe and America and other parts of the world. So they make all the money. Look at cocoa, for example. The value chain of cocoa is said to be almost $100 billion. But the cocoa export is less than $10 billion. Just around 9-point-something billion. Only cocoa. But the value chain is almost 100. Chocolate market is almost $30 billion. $30 billion. So if we really want to grow non-oil exports, we need to make policies that encourage and enforce the value addition of those products before leaving Nigeria. Because if we don't do that, it's like motion without movement. You are on motion, still as if you are exporting, but when you look at what you get at the end of the day, and this applies to not just Nigeria, a lot of African countries, we are not doing enough. But for me, I'm even talking about this because of AFCFTA, because majority of Nigerian exports in Africa, in West Africa, are value-added manufactured goods. So if Nigeria is going to take advantage of AFCFTA, then we must be deliberate about adding value. And like I said earlier, we need to incorporate SME in that chain.
Some of the barriers to affecting the trade sector may just include inadequate transportation infrastructure, poor road network. If we take a look at it, like I said earlier, the trade sector hinges, it's GDP, it's a basket of many sectors and all of that, and they relate to one or the other. But where I'm actually going to is for some sectors that would also impact the trade sector. You see barriers affecting those sectors. How do you see perhaps the Nigerian trade sector moving beyond what it is right now? Because if you take a look at it, transport sector, according to the MBS, contracted, I think, about 49.2%, if I'm not mistaken. The trade sector contracted 16.5% alone. So how do you think that we can actually connect the dots and do the right thing? What right things should we do?
Okay, now, first of all, sometimes we talk about some issues which are real, which are factual, but the implication of those issues, the way we highlight them, the way we expand them, the way we project them, it seems to me like the problems are not as, the impact of the problem, rather. The problem are great, no doubt, but the impact are not as bad as it were, as we can show it. And what I mean by that is this. We talk about infrastructure, no doubt, infrastructure in Nigeria is appalling. It's not good enough. But what I've discovered is that a lot of businesses have found a way to move on in spite of the government's inefficiencies in fixing these challenges. So if you check the competitiveness index in Africa, Nigeria is around 13, 14, or 15, something within that range. In West Africa, we are probably around number 4, behind Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Cape Verde. In West Africa, Nigeria is still doing much more than even those other African countries that are better off infrastructure-wise. Nigeria is doing better off. Nigeria is doing more than 40% of trade in West Africa. 12% of our trade goes to Africa.
But the question, but the question is, if we are doing better, what are the results? What have we really earned? If you take a look at what's happening now between Nigeria and Ghana, and like I said just a few weeks ago, this Nigeria and Ghana issue has been so persistent, at least as long as I've been doing this show. There's no year that I won't talk about Nigeria-Ghana issues. Do you understand what I mean?
I get your point. I get your point. I get your point. Now, so I'll come back to Nigeria-Ghana issue. So the question we should be asking ourselves is, in spite of the fact that this other country in West Africa have all those infrastructure, what is doing it for us? It seems as if maybe our population, or we'll find a way around this problem. I think the first thing we must do, first of all, is all the manufacturing companies in Nigeria, government must find a way to stop. Number one, encourage them, inform them, educate them, and support them to consider exports. You know, I was talking to a banker recently, and he was talking to me about a customer of his who is manufacturing products that his distributors are exporting. They are not even thinking of export, and they are affected with foreign exchange challenges. And I was telling him, so this banker was trying to tell them that, guys, why are you guys sitting down, waiting for CPN to give you forex, when you can export yourself? If this particular company, his distributors are already exporting his products, he is not thinking of export because he's getting effect from CPN. What I'm trying to say is that these businesses already are producing products that can be exported. For many of them, either because of capacity issue, because of education. You know, many people think that why should we export when we have markets in Nigeria? Some don't understand that export should be a strategic objective for a country and for a business. Strategic objective. Not just because you don't have market locally. You are doing it for a lot of other reasons. You are building global brands. You are generating effect. You are able to have enough effort to import your raw material. There's so many other reasons why you must export. And that's why I think a lot of manufacturers must be aware of. And government or NEPC also, in this case now, are still there to support these people, educate them on how they can begin to export it. There must be this management willingness to make the business export ready and begin to export what they are already producing. That they are, you know that a number of manufacturers, even when they move those things to Keari in Lagos, to Aspanda in Lagos, to different markets in Lagos, trucks come in to move those things out from the market. That's telling me that this product is going out. This product isn't exported. These people can export it. The reason, I think one of the major reasons is because those manufacturers, a number of them are not aware of how important it is for them to export. And I think what has happened with COVID and FS issue, it should make that clear that, look, I should begin to make conscious and deliberate effort to export my products. Not because there's no market in Nigeria, but because I need to generate effect. Now, coming to the Nigeria-Ghana issue, that's an age-long issue. I think just that would be a political solution between two countries to be able to resolve those issues. Political solution. I mean, I think, in foreign policy, you talk about this for that. I think if we decide to do what we need to do, maybe Ghana will sit up. I think we are not doing what we need to do in response to Ghana. The government of Ghana, the people of Ghana, from what I know, are not as, they don't hate Nigeria the way it sounded in the media. But it seems to me as if the government have an issue with Nigeria. I think it's a political issue and it can be resolved politically.
What do you think should be done? What do you think are the solutions to this Ghana-Nigeria issue? Because just like you said, it's been an age-long issue. For example, the restrictions placed on Nigerian traders in Ghana right now. Just some months ago, I know that there was an issue around, no, it's not the Kumasi area, the Swame magazine area in Ghana, you know. So how do you think that government should address this issue?
We need to sit down and talk frankly to ourselves. One, we need to sit down and talk frankly to ourselves and discuss what exactly are the issues and how do we trade off and move forward. And I think also, I think that one of the issues I think AFCFTA have addressed is the issue of dispute resolution mechanism, which was incorporated in the AFCFTA, which is not in the ETLS protocol. So we need to come up with a mechanism of resolving trade disputes among West African countries. We need to come up with that. We need to agree on that. That we begin to know we are human, we step on our toes, but we must find a way to resolve it. And whatever is the outcome of that, we must be able to abide by it. And there should be sanctions, collective sanctions on such a nation that will not abide by what we collectively agree that this is the way we want to resolve our issue.
Do you think that we've not been talking enough, that's Nigeria and Ghana? Over the years, I can recall how many discussions. The last one, our embassy was demolished there and all of that. Do you think we are not talking enough, or is it just talk in front of cameras and something else is brewing under? And also taking a look at perhaps where Nigeria stands right now, even economically. Ghana seems to be doing well, seems to be getting their economy on track despite the challenges. The AFCFTA secretariat was just commissioned, was it last week or so? So Ghana seems to be, making some giant strides with their economy.
Yeah. So what's the question again?
My question actually is, have we not talked enough? Because we've been talking for years.
We have not taken specific measures that will make the government of Ghana to come to the negotiation table for what to lay this issue to rest, finally. And I think ECOWAS also is not doing enough. Nigeria is a major contributor in terms of financing ECOWAS. So why should we be like a father of all, and the father is being trampled upon, and not much is being done about it?
Now,
not much is being done about it.
Yes, that is actually my second point right now with just what you said. Since Nigeria is a father and others are trampling on the father, why we are saying this is because Nigeria constitutes about close to 70% of the ECOWAS market in terms of even population and all of that. So do you think that some of this intimidation and what we're seeing from other ECOWAS countries, perhaps Ghana in this case, is also hinged on the fact that we seem not to have gotten our acts together economically? Because you would also demand respect, not just from not only locally, but internationally. If your economy is right, people will just naturally respect you. So do you also see that a bit as an undertone from the Ghanaians?
Completely. Because, there's Andek in Southwest that said that if a big problem makes you to fall, small problem will be climbing on top of you. That's exactly what I think is playing out. The fact that we also at home have really not get our act together. Because sincerely, I believe strongly that one of the way a country will command respect, and we have seen an example around the world, is when the people see your productivity. When you turn around and most of the products you see from a particular country, you can see from this country, subconsciously, you develop respect to that country. Subconsciously, you can see that this country seems to be getting something right. They seem to be a bit serious about some issues for them to be putting all these things on the table. So I think if we get the economic right and we begin to do a lot well economically and in trade, having so much product going out, I think we will be able to command some respect, and other countries are going to most likely stop these things they are doing. But we also have to sometimes demonstrate that we are father. We are not necessarily for Christmas without having the stick in our hands, but not wielding the stick occasionally, if need be.
Within the stick, so then it's actually also a bit dicey there, so that you don't with the stick and they say that you're also intimidating as a bigger country.
Yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
As a bigger country.
To avoid that, because we have already closed the border, but the further you ask the question about the effect, it's not really effective. You know, so some things we do, we have an issue with the border, no doubt, but there are fundamental problems that were not addressed. So even though the border is good, officially transactions are not happening, but we all know that there are so many unofficial informal trade in West Africa, and they have returned because some of those products are coming in. They have returned.
You know, it's when it comes to Nigeria-Ghana issue, it's really a very dicey issue. And just like you said, we need to find a lasting solution to this. There was a time I was flying some time ago in an airplane, and you know, we are being given things in the airplane. In fact, the juice that I was given, I looked at it, the pack, I saw it was made in Ghana. And I was like, does it mean that we can't make juices in Nigeria? I'm not against Ghanaian juices coming in. But what came to my mind is, is there some kind of reciprocity that I will find a Nigerian juice maker in Ghana of that? Or, okay, let me just put it that way, that if I'm flying on the Ghana airline, would I see a made in Nigeria juice?
These are policy I think should be made on the part of government. I mean, these are, you know, that if Innocent is complaining and saying that some other West African country, this Senegal, country, right, online, that place order in millions of dollars for its own material, for its own products, for its own cars, and our National Assembly are rejecting it. The state government are not buying. Then what do we expect?
So does that mean that we are not practicing what we preach then?
Exactly. Which is also the reason why we really are not seeing what we should be. Because if we are doing that and we're consuming local as much as possible, and we are mandating foreign airlines that are going to be carrying Nigeria to also do the same, of course, that's what you will see online. And then if worst case you say, okay, this is the minimum standard we want, and those people will have to upgrade to that standard so they can do well, so that they can be able to be part of the business rather than not engaging them at all. So I think it's a deliberate policy on the part of the government. It's a deliberate policy of the government to get that done.
The news about the 10 billion naira survival fund for transporters that has been released, that will go through the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. The Minister of State for Transportation announced that. Do you see that enhancing trade? Because even the transportation sector, like I said earlier, contracted by about 49.2%. We know that one of the challenges hindering the trade sector in Nigeria is lack of transport infrastructure. And just like Bemisola Saraki said, that 90% or more of Nigerians travel by road. How do you see this impacting that sector, thereby impacting the trade sector?
If we are going to reduce cost of transportation for trade transaction in Nigeria, our focus is rail, not on road transport. Rail, not on road transport. Rail crashed the price significantly. You know that Nigeria cannot effectively export coal, iron ore because the price of those products are so small. When you factor in the cost of transport, it's a loss. Because the cost of the good itself is small. At some point, maybe $100, $120, $150. So when you factor in the cost of the good itself, cost of transportation and other logistics is no more profitable. So moving our containers and bulk goods by rail will be the way to find a lasting solution to the challenge of trade. Such that, in fact, by the time that happens, you will be amazed at how much volume of trade we'll be able to do in Nigeria. Because what that means is that I can move large volume of food within a very short time at a very cheap cost, going straight into the port and being able to ship it out as soon as possible. And you will have avoided the issue in Apapa. We won't have most of those issues again. Most of those stuff will not be necessary again that we're having in Apapa. So really fix the issue to look at the way trade was impacted by transportation. We should think more of rail rather than road or any other means of transport. Rail, I think, would be a good answer for it.
Okay, I want to say many thanks for joining us on the program today. It's been nice chatting with you again. Dele,
all right, thank you very much for having me.
Dele Ayemibo is the lead consultant, Treaty Impacts Trade Academy. He's also an international trade expert. We've been looking at the trade sector in Nigeria. Just before we go, you saw the breaking news earlier that Dr. Akinwumi Adesina has been re-elected as the president of the African Development Bank for another 5-year tenure. He was the sole candidate, so he's succeeding himself. I'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. Tomorrow's show will be quite interactive, so you just need to stay with us. I am Nancy Naji. Don't forget to keep safe. Thank you for watching our video. Please hit the subscribe button below, turn on post notification to follow all our updates.